Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We often hear those words, go with your gut, listen to your intuition. I'm a believer in we have this ability to pilot us, but I struggle with, and I'm sure many do, how much of that is your intuition? How strong is your intuition? Some believe, man, it's everything. You have to listen to it. Everything you do comes from your intuition. But does it? Well, look at that today. And he's someone that kind of dissects a lot of these things and helps us understand it as a healer, intuitive coach, hypnotherapist, acupuncturist. I've gotten so many epiphanies from him along the way and just validation of things that I wondered about. Chris DiStefano is back with us on the program. How are you doing today?
Doing great, thanks. How about you, Steve?
Very well, and curious where we're going to go with this today, because that's what the beauty of when we get together. That's why you're the professional of the year. You have a direction. you know, somehow instinctively, maybe it's your intuition. We go in certain directions, and there's beauty that gets uncovered from that. Let's boil down to basics to start here. Let's establish we all have intuition, correct? And how do you define what intuition is?
That's a great question. Yes, we do all have it. Now, there it's I'm going to go a little bit backwards to move forward. That's a great way to shoot an arrow or a slingshot. There's a fantastic book, My Stroke of Insight, and that's Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor. She's a neuro PhD. She had a massive stroke that took the left side of her brain offline. And she documented her recovery. It took about 8 years complete recovery. When the right side of her brain was the only one running, she was completely connected to the oceanic consciousness. She was in a state of bliss. She was connected to what we would call divine or God consciousness. Now, that side of the brain, our consciousness, our awareness can only hears really well what we would call the inner voice. That's the left side of the brain. That's also, as I've said before, the biblical definition of the devil. It's the rational, logical, separate, judgmental, verbal side of the brain. It separates us, creates the illusion of scarcity. It's the only one of our consciousnesses that can lie. So I went to a retreat and I meditated on connecting with my intuition. And what I got back was, you've always connected to it. You didn't have the courage to act on it. So if I go to do something, I'm like, oh, don't do that. That's risky. Don't do that. Follow the safe path. That's my fear side of the brain. That's the left side of the brain, trying to keep me in a small box. That's the depression. That's the anxiety, keeping me in a small box. And it's louder. The intuition is like a candle, but it's consistent. And then this is like the sun. You can't see the candlelight until we block out the noise from that sun. And the intuition is there just waiting for us to connect.
Question popped in my head. Why doesn't the intuition beat the blank out of the logic? Why can't it just say, hey, whoa, wait a minute, logic, get out of the way. You don't know what you're talking about. I got this. Why doesn't that happen?
Oh, people have been playing this game for the ages. My theory, my speculation is that's where the growth is. The growth is learning to trust and love yourself enough to do it, learning to building that faith, overcoming. This is called shadow work. Being able to so let's say, let's use the 4-minute mile. Everyone was told, oh, you can't beat 4-minute mile until someone did. So up until then, that was belief systems limiting the physiology of human beings. Now we do the same thing in every facet of our lives. Oh, well, you can't take that risk and become an artist. You have to follow the safe path. You can't fill in the blank. And so every time we overcome you know, oh, the boss is always making me stay late and I'm afraid to say no. When you start to trust, and it's killing me. I've had patients like this. And when they take ownership of themselves, trust themselves, and love themselves enough, the growth they experience, that's the unique thing. You see, we are the infinite. That's the right side of our brain. We are the infinite, getting to have the experience of being limited. The joy of this incarnation is being limited and then overcoming the limits, leveling up, so to speak. So if we just heard the intuition and it was all billboard and we knew for sure that, oh, we don't have, no, it's that discovering and taking those leaps of faith and building and trusting ourselves and trusting our creator that we begin to really do it. And so the devil shouts and lies in his flesh. We all know that. The lies are always loud and flashy, and the truth is boring and consistent and beautiful. It's not really boring. It seems to be boring.
Why do we have to go through this? Why can't we just, it's been said that we need to learn a lesson. That's what this is all about. How come?
Have you ever played a video game?
Sure.
Good. Do you start off with all the weapons and tools and powers and all that? Would it be any fun if you're on level one with like the super sword and the super shield and you're fighting little guys about? That's not fun. There's no challenge in it. We crave what we create in video games, movies, etc., is a mirror of our consciousness, which is another mirror of our creation and what lies behind it. And we consistently run the hero's journey. And that's a journey of growth and overcoming and then coming into. If we already had it all from the start, then what are we? Then we just all come in like, I don't know. Honestly, because the unlimited, the infinite, can never experience growth because it's already infinite. It can never experience overcoming. It can never experience that amazing feeling we get when we finally nail it. And so we create limits to then get the victories.
We create limits to get the victories.
Yeah, the true miracle is that we believe we're limited because that's not true. Everything, it's funny, everything's flipped on its head when you start to look at it that way. But if we are created of and from the infinite, then we can be nothing other than that reflection. To believe that we are limited is the true miracle.
Pieces are coming together in my mind, and I'm seeing it because I've always believed, I think most of us do, that if we didn't experience sadness, sorrow, we wouldn't know what happiness and joy is. So, to the point here, if we were just born with everything and everything was fantastic and intuition was the beacon for everything, and you just made all the right choices every single time, and it was all perfect, and it would be kind of boring. There would be no ups and downs. It would just be steady rolling. So now I see it. I see it in a different light. What else should we know about our intuition?
Well, I'm gonna like do a little sidebar right now.
Sure.
So I'm gonna group Hounds of Business. Everyone in there, very high level people. It's a humbling experience being around these people. It's really an incredible group. And everyone that I've spoken to in that group, myself included, has been through excruciating high levels of challenge and difficulty because that has given us the roots, the stability for the growth that we've had. We've lived the experience. We haven't read about it. We've suffered in order to dig deep into ourselves. And that lets us trust ourselves at very deep levels. So without those challenges, see, a lot of people are like, oh, the bad things, this is super, super, super important. Why do bad things keep happening to me? That's victim mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I keep why do I keep bringing this pattern back into my life? That's creator mentality. And when we start seeing that, why does this pattern keep happening? Why is it in my life? And why am I bringing it? What am I supposed to learn from it? Now we dig deep. Now we don't resist the change. And now we listen to what we're being told and we grow through it. So that's actually connecting to intuition also. That's not resisting. Because how does intuition talk to us? I am actually putting together a deck of cards like tarot cards. And one of them is, how does it talk to us? Because we can also call it subconscious. We can also call it heart. Now it's not an exact one-to-one, but it's close. It speaks to us through, why does this keep happening to me? Those patterns that keep coming into our life are reflective of patterns we're running. So when we start paying attention to that, we start connecting to what we're telling ourselves. Listen to, even for me, I'm an auditory type of person, so I'll hear it on songs that play or things that are said.
And
Other people
we've
may
said
see it.
established we're the same way that way. Like I
Yes.
hear things in lyrics. I'm like, well, why did that play? What's going on there? Why am I hearing that song
Yes.
again? Whatever.
Or the song will pop into my head,
Yes.
and then I'll be like, okay, why did I just think of the song? And then I'll play through the lyrics. So that's another way it communicates. It also communicates through my body. If I start having pain, that means I'm holding stress. It means I'm resisting somewhere. And if I attend to that, I can begin to connect. It comes through opportunities or people that cross my path. Intuition is internal and external.
How do you mean that?
Well, in the external sense, why does this keep happening to me? Why do these patterns happen? Or I'm thinking about a business venture, and then I happen to run across one. We bump into each other and start talking, and that's a form of, we can call it synchronicity, but it's also an external intuition. It's a pattern that's sort of happening if I choose to then engage and take that leap. Timing is everything.
Why did that happen? Let's say, let's say you have a business idea. You've been thinking about it. This is right. This is the right thing. You walk into a Starbucks, you see somebody you haven't seen in a long time, and then you start talking, and they're thinking about doing the same business. And then, my gosh, wow, okay. Hey, you want to talk a little bit later? I'll give you a call. Whatever. We'll get together again when we have time. That person showing up in that example, it didn't happen just randomly. They were put there for that reason. Um, but how do you tie that into your intuition?
Steve, we're here to live life. Most people just get stuck in the prison of the grind. We're here to actually maximize and live life. Life will always give us the opportunity to live. Now, here's the great part. You take old Chris, runs into this person in the Starbucks, maybe doesn't even say anything, maybe just says, hey, how you been? Something foolish like that. I don't engage in life. Fortune favors the bold. Me now would be like, oh, that's awesome. Hey, how you been? How's the family? Really engage, connect with the person. Then we end up talking. Then we end up finding out. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to see, we don't grow until we push our comfort zone. That's part of the game. So I'm going to become a little uncomfortable. I'm going to be like, yeah, I'll take this risk. I'll engage. I'll grow. We'll grow collaboratively. We'll dance because, everyone knows you go into business. Sometimes your partner totally hoses you. So there's the risk, but there's also the trust that, hey, this is really great timing. I love this. This is going to be fun. No matter how it turns out, it's going to be fun.
But interestingly, based on my experience,
Mm-hmm.
like you just said, you could enter into a business with somebody and then get hosed, or it just doesn't work out that way, or one's pulling more weight, way more than the other one. Because of our amazing intuition, you'll know. You'll know. You'll know sooner once you're if you're more fine tuned into it. You'll get that feeling. Well, no, this is just not. It's not going in the direction I want to. Should I just keep doing it just because, that was the plan? Or your intuition will say, no, 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 no. Yeah, it's just, I stopped it. My intuition or universe, I stopped it for you there because that's not what you should be doing and or with this person.
And that's the best part because
Hmm.
maybe I'm just super desperate to make it happen and I sign on with the wrong person. Now I'm learning calibration, discernment. And so even if it doesn't turn out the way that I would have envisioned, instead I'm getting this powerful lesson. And then later on, in an even bigger scenario, I have the tools to listen at a deeper level because the intuition is connection to the infinite. The intuition is part creative force and part receiving. Everything is bilateral,
Hmm.
bidirectional, everything.
Well, there's one I got to process, as
I
we
know,
all do.
Steve. I'm sorry. And I was
No,
really
that's good.
I was really thinking because, this is what you do intuitively. But for communication, it's imperative, it's essential that the listener hears what's said. Now, this is what you do. This is something when I'm one on one coaching, I recalibrate every time. A lot of times I realize, even with a patient who has back pain, I say, lie down, face up. The other 10 doctors they saw have them go face down. Half the time, 4 words, lie down, face up, I have to say, other face up. Because even those 4 words, they don't process right because it's outside their normal habitual belief system. So a lot of what I'm saying is hard to connect to. Basically, what I'm going to say is the intuition is always there, always. But there's so much noise in the
Yep.
fear, logic, scarcity side of the brain, which has incomplete information that we tune out or we argue away what our intuition is giving to us and usually use fear as a way of doing it.
Is fear the baseline for everything here?
Fear is separateness. Fear is lack of belief or faith in ourself and in our creator and
But
in our world.
ultimately, isn't that, why don't we listen to our intuition? Fear. Why don't we take that chance when we're feeling something or opportunity presents? Fear. Is it always going back to fear?
I was speaking with someone the other day. They were like, money's the root of evil. I'm like, money's not anything.
It's a
Money
piece
is
of paper.
amazing because it's both energetic and physical. So it bridges consciousness. It's an amazing, amazing concept. What's really the problem is greed. And what's greed? Greed is fear. No matter how much these people have, they become hoarders and stackers because it's never enough because they're afraid. So if you look at almost anything that's what we would call bad, underneath at the very core of it are levels of fear. When someone's coming from that place of trust and love and abundance, you're not running into that scarcity and hoarding. Oh my God, Steve, the best thing in the world is a chapter I just put in my cards. Altruism.
Hmm.
Now, what is altruism? It's giving without expectation of return. And when we do it right, it's a multiplier. So I did a favor for someone over the weekend, and it was really, I really went above and beyond because I love this guy. And what it did for him is 1,000 times more than I had to put into it. And it felt really, really good to be able to give that to a person. So altruism at its core is kind of really super selfish because it feels awesome.
Hmm.
And that is operation from love. Now you operate from greed, fear, scarcity. That's how you screw people over. You betray people. There's a core issue there that makes us feel not good. And the more we feel good, the more we do that good, the more we do the altruism, the more we do from that place of abundance and we have infinite amount to give, the better we feel. And the more we'll connect to intuition also because we have forces, we have power. The right side of the brain is working with us. We have the wind at our back.
I've often heard that there needs to be an exchange when it comes to call it money, but it's really not about money. It's about energy. I once worked with somebody does Reiki, and they said, "Yeah, no, that's on me, no charge." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't do that." She goes, "No, I want you to see what it's going to feel like, but you need to send me $1." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, Venmo me $1." She goes, "Make sure you do it." And then I asked for the explanation. She did something for me. I need to return it. It could have been a penny. It doesn't matter. And it's not
Yeah.
even about the money. It's about the energetic exchange that needed to
Hmm.
take place.
Yeah. And that's true in most cases. Although random acts of kindness are also very highly valued. So in a
Mm.
transactional, you're getting something back from the person. In an altruistic, the feedback happens at a different level. That's like spirit level feedback. And it
Yeah.
feels like, if you ever volunteer somewhere and you're just giving, and you're giving because that's what you are, you're giving because you can, you're giving because your cup runneth over, then you're filled. And that just pushes up the vibration. It, it brings us into ourselves.
Well, it's been said, and I'd love to get your feeling on this. Always do the right thing because the right thing will come back to you. You shouldn't be doing it for that reason, but that's just kind of a universal law. What are your thoughts on that?
I couldn't agree more. But the caveat is, what's the right thing? You see, most people fall into I should be, which is conditioning. The right thing is what the heart says. The right thing is where our truth is. So, really, that's intuition now. We're connecting to what's coming from that place of love and abundance, not the right thing of. So, do the right thing frequently is following obligations. And if that's not authentic to what you want to do, now you're in a place of being false. So the right thing is always doing what's authentic.
Thank you for saying that because it's clearer. And I do believe though, do the right thing for all or the greater good. Because many of us
Yes.
can say, I did the right thing, but you're just benefiting yourself. If it's for the benefit of all or as many that can benefit from it, then maybe it's the same thing now that I'm thinking about it because it's coming from a place of authenticity.
Well, that is one of the greatest traps is we're told that if we take care of ourselves, it's being selfish,
Mm,
but
mm.
it's actually self-care. Learning to do that. So if we're taking care of ourselves from a place of fear, now we're that hoarder, that stacker, that whatever, and that we hate humanity and we just want to take me, 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 me. But if we're taking care of ourselves from a healthy place, it's taking that time to do self care, to love ourselves, because it says right there in the Bible, love thy neighbor as you love thyself. Now, I've said this for years. Most people hate themselves. Now, if you hate yourself, how are you going to treat the world? Yes, you are the most important person in your world. If you do not take care of yourself, you cannot give as fully. You are less than. So, self care helps brings your energy up, brings everything. You have more to give
Yep.
when you are operating from that authentic core.
When are you doing those cards? I think it's a great idea. And I have tarot cards. They're actually angel cards, and I'll mess around with them from time to time. And I wonder if it's how to interpret them. And it's very simple. It's not like your typical deck of cards because it's an angel deck. But it sounds like yours would be intuitively very easy to understand.
It's so easy. I'm just going to read you one real quick.
Sure.
Uh, this is a simple one. Look at nature. Nature is always in perfect flow. Let it remind you of your natural state. It operates so the core teaching, it operates in perfect harmony without effort or stress. Trees don't worry about growing, rivers don't struggle to flow, and flowers don't doubt their beauty. Connecting with nature reminds you of your own natural state of ease and flow. Action steps. Spend a few minutes really looking at something natural, a tree, clouds, water, even a single flower. Don't just glance, truly observe and connect. Notice colors, textures, movements. Let yourself feel part of this. Why it works. Nature viewing reduces cortisol levels and activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It shifts your brain from analytical left hemisphere to the intuitive, right hemisphere. You remember that you two are part of nature's perfection, not separate from it.
Love that. Love that. And even more so that why it works. All
Don't
right.
you love how it always comes full circle? I did not pick or control that. You picked intuition, and that just happened to be the card that I was given. This is outside world intuition. Remember I said external intuition?
Yeah.
That's our confirmation.
We didn't plan this out. We just
I swear. I just switched over. I swear.
Same. And I didn't even know why the word intuition came up. We were talking about something off air, and I said that word. I'm like, maybe we should be talking about intuition today. I don't know. Apparently, we should be and did.
And that's how they talk to us. That's how we hear. That was our confirmation that we were doing what we were supposed to.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I love that feeling.
Right. Yes. Yeah, I'm feeling the same thing because I couldn't say that unless I was feeling the same thing. Wow.
And one last super quick thing. When I speak with people, they always want to understand it. They always want to hold it. That's only the left side of the brain. If anyone's paying attention, we did not plan or control this. This flowed through. It's something, this is what flow and intuition is. It's all a movement that we have to just allow and be present for.
We need to keep flowing. Yeah. And now I understand those two words, flow state. Be in a state of flow as much as you can. How do we connect? Somebody's got a question for you. And you do many different things. What's the best way to get to you?
Scarsdalehealth.com is my acupuncture site. It's always easy to connect. Level3coaching.org. That's my website for the coaching. I'm on LinkedIn, YouTube, all sorts of stuff. And eventually I'll be putting out these cards. I just have to look into publishing. But yeah, they're pretty cool.
I agree wholeheartedly. And again, how you break it down, because some of us, how it works, some might not even care or read that. Me personally, I like to know about the parasympathetic nerve system and all of that. What's at play behind the scenes. Very cool. Thank you for today, as always. Always fantastic.
My pleasure, Steve. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.